Hi guys, welcome back to another video. We're just going to talk about today's markets. It's 1:15. We've got news at 1:30. So we don't really want to rush into a trade right now, obviously. We don't want to rush our entries, but I'm just looking at where we're looking. I did take a buy from... Let me get the coordinates quickly because it will just be easier to get the exact coordinates. I just deleted it for some reason. 2658.41. I think it was on this red candle here. 41. Had my stops placed just by here. I'm going to take profit. I manually close it. I'm going to take profit just here above this area, but I decided to close out at 2661.70, so literally there. So we had a nice 1 to 2 on this. I took out 250 after commissions. We hit a little bit of drawdown, but nothing major. What time did we get? 251. No, that's when we closed out. Let me just get the exact minute. So 112. So we got in here. This green candle here is where we got in. So we didn't have that much drawdown. We had this little bit of drawdown, but that's about it. So I'd say it didn't take too long. What I did then, just to give me that little bit more of confidence in the trade, nice little trend line here, waiting for that break. We had that break, we took off. I wasn't sure if we was going to get that retest, but we did have that perfect retest here. Then we took off to the final TP. So what I'm looking out for now on the hourly chart is we can see how we created this order block at this level here where we impulsed higher, taking out all these structural highs, this little bit of resistance that we had on the hourly. But it looks like it's rejected from the bear bull bear. I had liquidity sitting here from the 15-minute chart. You can see that we've broken through that. It was also on the 5-minute. I think I did it actually because it was a bit more clear. So we've taken out that liquidity. We've filled in this imbalance here. So we're just looking to see if we can get into another trade here from this level, preferably before the news release. But if not, we'll have to wait till after the news is finished. The first thing is to see, basically, because we've got a lot of sell momentum here, basically we're waiting to see if price will sort of overlap and come back up like it is now, but it's moving too fast for me at the moment. I don't like all these big huge candles coming into play. I want to see price basically show us that we are, you know, playing around basically, as it were, before shooting off. So we want to see something like this where price is stalling, creating structural points where we can wait for that break and retest. Same here as well, how we broke here, broke past structure 1 and structure 2. We came back into it, retested, then we took off again. And that's what we sort of want to see. So although we are stalling out here, it's not giving me perfect entry points. So that's what I'm looking out for. Anyway, obviously I've drawn this area because that's where we've impulsed from. And we had this area from before, earlier on structure. If we look at the upside, there's quite a little bit of imbalance here that we need to mark out. So we could be using them for targets. Obviously, if we look at the hourly, we've got a long way to go to liquidate the top. Gold is very consolidating right now. It doesn't actually have trend direction. From this point, we did break up, create a lower high, and then a higher high. So we're just trading within this range at the moment. It would be nice to see, you know, if we can get a buy and liquidate these wick highs here. That would be a very nice long trade to get into. So we'll mark that out anyway as well. And yeah, we just want to wait to see if we can find a good entry point at the moment. So we've just done short-term liquidity here, as you can see. So that's perfect. We're still within this trading order block where we've basically started a new trend. This is all just choppy mess, and hopefully now we can impulse higher and look for that overall trend direction. So as you can see now, we've basically rejected twice from this level. We're just creating a bull bear bull here. mark that out yellow just so we know we're going to concentrate on this. Now we've got our third wick rejection, so we could be looking at trying to get along in here now from this order block. We can keep our stop loss quite small here. Well, we can get it to 15 pips, which is fine for me. And then look for 1 to 3 again, which would be equal highs basically. So we don't want to rush into this. We want to wait for price just to stall a little bit and wait. It is getting late now as well because of obviously with the news in 10 minutes it does put things a spanner in the works, as it were. So let's just wait it out and see if we can find an entry at some point. Well, that's news just hit. That's just absolutely plummeted. It's a bit of a shame because obviously we could have actually got in to follow the trend, but because of this missing price above, I was just a bit too concerned that maybe we'll spike lower. But at the end of the day, we've got a lovely amount of divergence now, obviously, from this level to here, and the RSI giving us that rejection. So where is price heading? That is a question. Well, really we're still within a order block here as well, but it's not really very confident. My concern would be here now. I'm going to delete this because it's no longer important. I'm going to leave this one here because it can be used now as resistance because it was support, and it's just hitting into that order block now, liquidating all these lows. So we might see a potential to go long from this level of price, but again it's going to take a few minutes because we need price to basically stall out, show us then rejection, show us that we're building a liquidity that we can take out. But I'm just going to draw that area. I don't want to go through all the different time frames and make this area any smaller. I'm just going to leave it here and look at current price to see if we can actually create that new levels of structure that we can trade from. So yeah, we'll look like we're rejecting from here now. Lovely amount of liquidity taken in that news report. So let's just wait and see. Probably going to be about an hour before we can find a trade now. So this is the joys of trading. You're just going to have to sit on your hands, wait for price to show us that basically there is a trade to actually take place. So we're at 1:30 now. Let's just see what happens. Maybe we can get a trade by 2. I doubt it very much, but we can see if we can. Obviously we don't know what price is going to do. So I'm going to pause the video and see if we can find a entry and we can take a trade. So what we've got here now is how, we still held that same hourly order block. We're just sort of fluctuating now, which is what I want to see, just because what we're doing is creating points that we want to break, like here, here. If we can break both these points, we can then look at maybe, say if we break it now, we can then look at maybe retesting into here and taking a buy from this level of price. We can lower that stop loss down. The only problem is it's going to be a big stop loss, but I could use smaller risk. And at the end of the day, we can still get a nice 1 to 4 out of this. So although we're risking a bigger stop, because I like to keep within 20 pip range, we can still make that reward against the risk in hand. So again, we just want to see if price is actually going to break through these levels of structure just to show us that we are actually going to keep going up. Obviously we've got a lot of imbalance from that news report. We've even got imbalances back up here, so we could even look at focusing through this range for an even longer trade for even a 1 to 6 reward to risk. So what I want to do is basically we just want to see what price is going to do. We sit on our hands and we wait. So guys, this is what I was saying about being patient, is obviously we're waiting. You're just simply having to wait and wait and wait. We can't just keep taking trades all the time. We didn't break that second level, so it's not valid yet. It's now, as I said, coming up to 10 to 2, so I didn't think we'd get a trade before 2 o'clock. But I'm going to suspect the price is going to come down a little bit further, maybe fluctuate within this area of price and then show us that rejection. It could simply shoot up from here now, break through that structure and retest into it. Again, I don't care which way it does it, as long as we can get that retest and take that trade and not miss it is obviously the priority really. So again, we wait and wait. Another quick update now, we have broken through the order block where we closed right above. So if we look at the hourly, you can see how we just had that lovely big wick, but it's still trading within the same level. So I'm still focused here on this level of price. Again, I've got to wait until I see a break up of this red line before I can even look at an entry, unfortunately, which is a bit of a nightmare because we're going to have to wait for price to then come all the way back down before we can take a long. But I just want to be as transparent as possible. So now we're getting a little bit more interesting. We've come back up now to the level I wanted to see break before I look for an entry. So we can start looking at making these levels a little smaller to find that entry that we want to actually trade from, because we're massively overbought now. We could see price basically, I need it to close above this red line. If we can get a candle close here like that and then come back down, we can look at taking a long again if it keeps going, and we look for a short from here or from here back down to these levels here. If you look at the hourly though, it is looking like it's gonna retrace back up and see where we end up. But I just wanted to keep you in the loop. So it's now 10 past 2, sorry. So we've still got, we've been waiting around all this time, but that's that breakup we wanted to see now. Form that bull bear bull, so are we going to hold this out as well? Let's just see what happens when it retraces, because although we're quite far up now, for an example, we don't need our stop all the way down here. We can bring our stop to around here at 25 pips and still get that 1 to 3 in a much smaller area of price. And yeah, that would be more ideal for my way of trading rather than having to have a massive stop. And we're just going to catch the rest of this momentum, which is what I want to see. Just quickly guys, I didn't get into this, it was freaking perfect and I missed it. I've just drawn out on the hourly our fib from the basically from the news report candle. We're just trading off the 61.8 now, which is quite frequently used by traders, so we might see some rejections here to trick sellers into getting into the market, fill in this imbalance where we could take our entry. So I'm just going to pause it because I would like to actually show you the live trade in real time and then go from there basically, okay? And look how perfect that was. Absolute nightmare. I didn't get into the trade and I think it's going to take off now. Might be able to get an entry, I don't know, I really doubt it. The biggest problem for me is obviously having to make sure that our stop loss is protected by something. I forget in here, you know, my stop loss is going to be around here and it's not going to be big enough, and then if I extend my stop I'm going to be losing more reward to risk. I can't believe how absolutely spot on that retest was, which would be brilliant if I was in the trade, but because I'm not, it's very sad. I had a second retest opportunity there, I didn't take it. Hesitation is a killer. I was hoping that we was going to come into this level of price and show us a rejection, liquidating these short-term lows here, but it just didn't happen. I think this is the candle now that will take us to the TP as well, unfortunately. It's now 25 past 2, the 5 minute. You can see how it's just running into a bull bear bull now, so we've got another level of support from the 5 minute candle, so you never know, but I very much doubt we're going to get that TP, unfortunately. Not that TP, that entry first off. But let's just see if we can get that entry and then I can record the actual trade. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you basically miss a trade. That would have been absolutely smashing. Look at that, no drawdown at all. 2 entry points that we could have got in and we hesitated on both. And it would just run straight to TP now without hesitation. Let's see how that 61.8 held quite well. That would have enticed all sellers into the market, and then obviously we liquidate them out with their stop losses. I do see price going higher than here. Maybe we get a trade in later, I can't say. So guys, we're still waiting here for a entry. If we can get long, at least to take out these wicks here would be ideal, coming up to at least this level or beyond. This red line is missing price for the 15 minutes, so are we going to come down and retest into this and then go long again, or are we going to simply keep going up? That is a question. So as you can see, we have like a lot of wicks here that could be holding a lot of liquidity for those who actually are smart enough to go long on this. Now the question is, where are we going to go? It's now 10 to 3, so we are going to be going into a new hour shortly. I still think that we're going to keep going up, just because you can see from this level the rejection was so hard after taking out that liquidity. Even if we came back up into this bull candle that I took my trade off earlier, but at the moment we're not really having signs of what price is trying to do. It is literally just fluctuating like mad. We could look for a descending triangle here as a way to find out where the markets might be going. So normally with trades like this, what we're doing is just breaking down price to see how it runs. You know, we're basically in order flow at the moment, so we're building orders, but are those orders going to be more buys or more sells? At the moment it's very equal. You know, alright, we've got two bull candles, but then one selling candle broke through. We've just broken out of this channel now, so we have a lot of fake out here. Or are we gonna simply retest into this and keep going up? Really, ideally, what I would like to see is price come into here, come into this order block that took us past structure 1 and structure 2. I know we did here, but unfortunately I missed it. From here then we've just literally been stagnant. We're not really making any bullish or bearish moves. I think we might even stay like this for the next 10 minutes until we see where price is going. Let me just lower my stochastic a little bit because I'm assuming it's on 14 candles, whereas I would prefer it to be on 10. Now that for me is better. So that triangle didn't really hold too well, so that doesn't matter. We're not really, I don't really just trade them anyway. It was just to see where price is going to go. At the moment we're literally just consolidating. We haven't really got any true moves to go through. Just coming into an oversold area now. Just liquidating these wick lows here, which is quite nice and what we want to see. Obviously this wick here is our most important wick, just because that was the last bull move to a new high. So using that is very important at the moment. Let's see if we can use this order block. Is it going to be a bit too big? Nope. Now we're moving into a little bit better price action that I prefer. 60 pips, 20 pip stop. So if we do move back down to here, I will actually take a buy. This one wick was just a little bit too fast for my liking. But yeah, if we can show that we are actually going to keep holding this level of price, that would be ideal. We might have to wait for the next hour to actually come in before we can look at that buy order. But as you've seen in my last video, you can see what I'm looking out for, what I'm doing, and just being patient. Yeah. So until then, we are just waiting. If we can break above here, if we can get a nice candle close here, then we've formed another bullish order block. So although we're moving stagnant, we are still making bullish order flow rather than bearish. So this is quite important now, because this could simply be the start of the next bull run. Obviously I'm not in the trade because we haven't had that retest that I'm looking for, but I could be looking around there for my entry if possible. So we just need price to come down, tag us in, take off, and we can just keep extending our targets depending on how the market is doing. Obviously if we can get all the way up to the UK highs, that's going to be a lovely 1 to 6 reward to risk. So it just goes to show, guys, if you know, at the end of the day, I missed quite a few trades, this one being the most annoying trade. But back down here, having that big giant stop was not worth it. Being patient and letting price just to slow down a little bit, give us a bigger story, we can then make our stops smaller and have bigger gains with less risk as well involved. Okay, so we have actually done what I expected. This is no longer an important level of price. So I'm hoping at the 3 o'clock now, at 3 o'clock open, we'll see a nice pull down for the next hour to show us that we have a wick low. And we can get into a long there. That would have been lovely. That would have been a massive trade if I got into that. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4 pips, 65 pips would be around 500 quid in 4 minutes. There's no point crying about what you missed. You just want to cry about your losses, nothing else. So yeah, we have got an imbalance here. So it would be quite nice to see if price will come back down, fill in this imbalance, and then we can look at taking along to wherever it may take us. Okay guys, so we're going to be looking at getting into a trade now in a second. We're looking at 264899. I got a 260, 50, 25. Wasn't the best entry at all. Let's extend our stops. But we can see where we end up. Just set my take profit and stop. So we're looking at 1.25 at the moment. That entry is absolutely diabolical, unfortunately. If we can survive this, it'd be really nice. But let's wait and see. So yeah, we're in the trade. Hit a bit of drawdown at the start. Straight away. I hate trades that go straight into drawdown. I'd rather like at least price to stall out around entry. But we're just going to hold out and see what happens. We're going back up to break even now. Now we're in profit. Not by much. Didn't last very long at all. But we have closed above that. So either way, even if I didn't get in on this candle here, I would have got in on this green candle. So either way, I've got that entry I would have taken here anyway, because we've closed back above this order flow area that we drew. So yeah, take profit and stop loss is pretty much where I want to be. This would be for a £500 gain against a £200 loss. So it's around 1.25. I think that's pretty much all I want from this. So I'm just going to keep pausing the camera, see what happens. We're just, as I said, I was waiting for the new hour, so just to show you, I haven't taken the trade until after the new hour has been published. Let me just take a screenshot, just for proof, even though you could hear the sound. The main reason why I'm not worried yet, because we haven't actually broken any structures. This is the last level of structure, so if this gets broken, then I'm simply wrong. Price is going to keep going down, and that's it. There's nothing I can have done about it. But this is literally the last level of price that is holding the longs, in my opinion. If it breaks and hits my stop loss, then we're going to be looking at sells, or I probably won't trade again today anyway, because that'll be a break-even day for me, and that's it. There's not really much else I can do about that. So we're just going to wait and see what happens. Obviously, if we can get TP, that would be the most ideal scenario. So I'm going to pause the video because we're not really moving too much. We're doing just fluctuating around, and I will press play once we have started making some form of progress, either to take profit or to stop loss. But now I'm happy I took the trade. It is very valid. I can simply be wrong, and that happens. But the trade is valid in my opinion, and there's nothing I can do if it does lose. That's literally part of the game. Just having to play the edge that I've created over and over and waiting for the gains and just simply moving on from the losses. Okay guys, we haven't really moved too much other than this wick high, but it didn't hold unfortunately, and you can see how it's basically just bouncing off this level here. We've come back down to entry, took some more drawdown again. But I am still in the trade because I do still believe this is going to take us up to at least this level, if not beyond the all-time highs again. But for me as a scalper, I wouldn't really be looking for all-time highs, just because when we hit levels like this, we might consolidate for a while, and then I might look for a re-entry off the consolidation. I've got to go collect my daughter from school now, so unfortunately I can't sit here and watch. But I will pause the video again and we will see what happens. It's now 3:15. We can quickly look through what the other candles have done. So that's a nice solid bear candle on the 15-minute chart, unfortunately. 5 minutes. Again, we're not really doing much, you know, it's not really showing us too much that we can trade from. You see a double top in the 3-minute. But nothing's really taken past this structure low. This is, as I said, the holding price. This is the make or break price range. You know, if we break it, we're going to go lower. If we go up, then we could keep going up to these levels or up to here. But either way, I'm happy with the trade. I took it. I'm in it. I chose my execution time. It was this. And I was just hoping for a bit of a quicker trade. I thought, now we're coming up to 18 minutes into the hourly candle, I thought we'd be making some gains, but at the moment it's not looking awfully fantastic, unfortunately. So we're going to hold out, we're going to see, and when I get back now we can see what happened in the end. So unfortunately we took that loss here. We had that maximum par 200, but then before getting taken out, and we just spiked down into this overall level of price, but we didn't close below. So what I did was wait for a second entry. This is where we had that bull bear bull, which took my first entry here, and then we came back down, and because that wick held, I took a second entry up to a larger take profit, just so I can get about 700 profit, and it went straight through and won, which is very nice. Obviously it's still going, guys, but at the end of the day, taking a 200 loss and making back 600 was very nice. What I wanted to do, what I needed to do to round my account up, basically, is what I wanted. So yeah, it was very nice. So I could have taken more, guys. I could have obviously taken more, but when we get into this order price, I expected price to basically liquidate these highs and then come back down. It's going to carry on now, but for me on a Friday, that is beautiful. It is now 4:05 and it's still going up now. It's still flying up, and yeah, I just couldn't hold out any more than what I had. You know, if we came back all the way down to this bull bear bull here, I would have lost most of my profit.